From the High Definition Production Center of Troy University's Broadcast and Digital Network and Troy campuses around the world, this is TrojanVision Weekly.
Hello and welcome to TrojanVision Weekly. We're glad you joined us for this look at what's happening in and around Troy University. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. Troy University's Alpha Tau Omega fraternity broke their fundraising record during last week's walk hard event. The brothers raised $62,000 for Jeep Sullivan's Outdoors during their walk hard fundraiser last week. 33 brothers walked the entire distance between Troy and Panama City Beach to raise money for Sullivan. His organization takes wounded vets out on outdoor excursions, and the ability to help these veterans was what encouraged the brothers to make the long trip on foot.
The physical donation of our money and our time is huge and gives back to veterans, but really just being able to put aside ourselves and lay ourselves down for this cause and for these veterans is what makes the difference and what makes it important for them. The reason we walk these miles, the reason we put those packs on our back is so that we can try to understand what these veterans did for us, and so hopefully they'll have a greater understanding of that.
The $62,000 raised was the most ATO has raised since starting the fundraiser. Well, the end of the semester is quickly approaching, and many students will be looking to fill their closet with professional wear to help land that internship or job for some time in the future. Career Services gave students the chance to get their hands on some professional clothes from their first career closet. Chelsea Law has the story.
Students got a chance to sift through some business casual to professional clothing items Wednesday morning. Career Services hosted their soft opening of the career closet on the 3rd floor of Bibb Graves, giving students the opportunity to maybe find that perfect outfit for upcoming job interviews and internships.
We've done a drive with faculty and staff who have donated items, and students can come in and take the items that fit them and keep it forever, up to 3 items apiece per semester.
For students who are looking to start building their closet with professional wear, Cole says that this may be a good place to start.
Well, some students, we hope it helps them financially if they don't have the extra income to invest in professional clothing, but also it's just their first time in actually building their professional wardrobe, so we want to help them get started.
If you're still needing help applying for jobs, internships, or just need career advice, Career Services has some services available to help.
We're available in Eldridge Hall to help with resumes, mock interviews, job searching. They can go to our website and they'll see Handshake in the middle of the page. That's where all our job postings and internships are, and they can go in Handshake and schedule appointments with us.
The career closet was only open for 1 day, but Career Services hopes that it'll hang around for much longer in the future. Chelsea Law, Troy. TrojanVision News.
The Sorrell College of Business is known for teaching students the skills to get into the world of business. However, yesterday morning, the college started a new series that applies some more practical knowledge to business concepts. Lydia Williams explains.
On Thursday morning in Bibb Graves Hall, faculty, staff, and students gathered together to attend the Sorrell College of Business's annual Geek Speak series.
So today we're kicking off our Geek Speak speaker series. It's going to last for 4 weeks, and today is our first lecture. We have some ladies from Troy Bank and Trust who are going to be doing a budgeting panel, so really helping our students kind of figure out their personal finance, especially in this really important time of college when we're just trying to figure out life skills and how to do it the best way we can.
Students gained a great amount of tips on how to budget, save, and they even learned about the advantages of starting a 401k.
Pretty much learned a bunch of life skills at this event today that I feel every student in college should know, how to pretty much budget your life and plan for the future. Because as they talked about today, credit scores and things like that are very important once you graduate from college and get out on your own.
Overall, the biggest lesson learned in today's Geek Speak series was to not buy stuff that you cannot afford.
A credit card can be a very great tool in basically establishing credit and building a credit history, but if you're not a disciplined spender, then you can get in a lot of trouble with a credit card and you can get in debt very, very quickly.
The next Geek Speak series will be about positive business strategies, held on Thursday, March 29th in Bibb Graves Room 129. Lydia Williams, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Troy University students will soon have the opportunity to choose who will represent them in the Student Government Association Senate. And any students who are curious as to what it takes to be a part of that Senate had those questions answered Wednesday night. Anna Kate Patterson shows us how.
Troy students interested in running for the Student Government Association Senate are a little more prepared after the meeting held Wednesday night. Current SGA senators met with those interested in running to share information and answer questions.
This meeting is about just interest in SGA and kind of what we're about, so that they can learn the qualifications and what is required of them during SGA.
A panel of the 2017-2018 senators attended the meeting to give advice to the prospective new senators. Senator-at-Large Carter Ray says the Student Government Association gave him an appreciation for people who are unlike himself.
There's many different kinds of people, and it takes all those different kinds of people to make the university go round.
Two encourages students to run for Senate because it offers opportunities for involvement that they may not otherwise receive.
For me, a part of SGA, I've made so many connections, and I have grown as a leader, but also in my passion for Troy. I've really gotten to learn from the students and gotten to hear their opinions.
Graham Haney, a member of Freshman Forum, is planning on running for Senate because he feels SGA works as a voice for the students. He says he hopes to be elected to Senate so he can better connect the students with faculty on campus.
I really feel like there are a lot of people that have concerns that they believe need to be changed, and there's not a good connection between the students and the faculty in order to get those questions answered and get those solutions.
Wednesday night's meeting was not mandatory if you want to run for SGA Senate. Students will receive an email in their Troy email accounts with the application form through FormStack. There is a $10 application fee, and applications and fees are due to the SGA office by April 4th. Anna Kate Patterson, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Walt Whitman is one of America's most celebrated poets, and for one day a year, Troy University joins in celebrating his work. They do so in the form of a marathon reading of one of Whitman's most famous works. Yolanda Allen has the story.
They come to me at nights and go for me again, but they are not the me myself.
The Writing Center here at Troy University presented their second annual collection poetry book, Leaves Are Grass by Walt Whitman.
Before we were just the Writing Center, I think maybe 20 or 30 years ago, we were also the Reading Center. And so we've tried to start waking that back up a little bit.
Even though the event was experiencing cold chills and wind, some students still came out to read with others.
Poetry has a special power when it's spoken aloud that's very different from when you read it on a page. Sometimes it can seem kind of lifeless and dry, but when you read it out loud, and especially with other people, especially someone like Whitman, it takes on a brand new life, especially on this beautiful green day.
One student found Whitman's work very inspiring.
He tries to find all of the good in everyone, and I think like Song of Myself is, I know, a really big example of that, but he sees what humanity has in common, and it's just very down to earth, and I really appreciate that.
Leaves Are Grass is read in the spring semester, but in the fall semester, well, that's a different story.
This fall we will have a novel, and we're looking closely at an Octavia Butler novel for the fall.
Yolanda Allen, Troy, TrojanVision News.
We're going to take a short break, and when we return, we'll learn about a few new organizations to campus. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
It's the Talk of Troy. Voices and sounds from the campuses of Troy University.
You can do it. You can become an entrepreneur. You can make a difference in your community. Most people hear the negative. They hear, you can't do this in Alabama. You can do it.
Join us for the Talk of Troy, Fridays at 8:45 a.m. and 3:44 p.m., and Sundays at 4:35 p.m. on Troy Public Radio.
This is Dr. Daniel Smith. He's an expert in domestic and international economics. But his proudest achievement is connecting with his students and helping them accomplish more than they ever thought possible. That's the warrior spirit, and it's alive and well at Troy University. Feel it at troy.edu/spirit.
Now back to Troy TrojanVision News Weekly.
Habitat for Humanity is known for building homes for the less fortunate, and there's a student version of the organization on Troy's campus that contributes to the cause. However, as Janae Jordan shows us, the students in the club are doing more than building homes to help out in the community.
Every other Thursday of each month at 5:30, Habitat for Humanity holds a meeting in TC Room 224 to discuss their up-and-coming volunteer projects for the month. President Jacob Baker explains some of the volunteer work that Habitat for Humanity does.
Well, we go every week to the Boys and Girls Club, and we go to Noble Manor and volunteer with the elderly people. And we also go, when they're building a house, we help out every weekend with the house build.
Habitat for Humanity is a Christian non-for-profit organization that seeks to eliminate poverty and homelessness and build affordable housing.
The students and families of the university get a lot out of it because the students that are in Habitat get to do a lot of community service work, and it helps build their character. And the parents of those students and the parents in the community, they appreciate us going and helping their kids at the Boys and Girls Club, and especially the families who have the houses that we're helping build. They get a house out of it.
Not only does Habitat for Humanity build houses, they also host fun events around campus and at local restaurants to help raise money for the organization.
We host Valentine's Day social mixers for people, and we also host fundraisers like spirit nights in local restaurants, and we have car washes in combination with other on-campus organizations.
Habitat for Humanity is a Christian organization based on faith and bringing people together to build homes, communities, and hope. If you are interested in joining Habitat for Humanity, the next meeting will be held March 22nd in TC Room 224 at 5:30. Janae Jordan, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
A new student group is trying to bring emphasis to art on campus, including raising money to help students pursuing art as a career. Shira Sherfield shows us how.
Kappa Pi Art Society may not ring a bell to the Troy student body yet, but this semester they are planning on making the organization more active and well-known on campus and encourage art students to become more involved.
Kappa Pi is the art honor society on campus. It pairs with art club so that people with the major can be in the fraternity, but people who just want it in their lives in general can be in art club. We raise money to get more supplies for our club and our department, and whoever joins can participate in that.
Over the past week, Kappa Pi hosted their St. Patrick's Day raffle and hopes to raise money for a trip to the big city. Students were able to buy a raffle ticket for $1 for a chance to win a $25 Chick-fil-A gift card. Some students even donated extra money in support of the fraternity.
Right now, with our raffle, we are raising money for our possible New York trip that we're trying to plan and get together. None of us have ever been, so we want to get there and go to all the museums that we can and just see all the culture.
Although Kappa Pi is currently a small organization, they are working to expand by reaching out to students through art.
And on campus, what we're trying to do is reach out to as many students as possible, let them know that we're there and we're a center that they can come and talk about art, learn more about different artists, different art forms. Anything they have personal or for class or anything, if they want it critiqued, then they can come and we can work on it together.
Shira Sherfield, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
For Troy students, it's typical to see student organizations selling baked goods in and around the Trojan Center for some cause. Well, one new organization on campus is establishing itself with a cupcake bar in the Trojan Center. Nathaniel Rodriguez has the details.
Black Succeeding is holding a cupcake bar in the Trojan Center food court Tuesday and Wednesday from 11:15 to 3:30. This is one of the organization's first events, having been created by 3 Troy students last month.
We thought of it one night in one of our apartments, and we wanted to have something for all the students to be able to get together and bond based off of your major, and also while you're bonding, do social projects and have fun together.
The idea for a cupcake bar came from the group's early days as they began drawing student interest.
We called it a cupcake bar because when we first started giving out our interest information, we were giving out cupcakes, and a lot of people were enjoying the cupcakes when they were for free. So we decided to try to help our club get some extra funds. We would sell them for $1.
According to Andrews, Black Succeeding held this cupcake bar today in order to raise money for a marketplace event for local students.
That is going to be sort of like a flea market style setting, and students will be able to sign up and reserve a table and be able to showcase their brands or be able to showcase their business that they may have or any ideas that they want to show off.
Black Succeeding is planning to have the marketplace on April 26th at the Social Quad. Nathaniel Rodriguez, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
We're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we'll learn how high heel shoes are becoming a part of exercise equipment for some Troy students. So don't touch that dial.
No doubt you're going places, young lady.
Thank you. And thank you for the interview as well. I can imagine it was the last thing that you wanted to do after such a long campaign meeting.
You really are a very intelligent young woman. You're very smooth.
You're very smooth yourself.
You have no idea.
Now back to Trojan Vision News Weekly.
A Troy University sorority gave out colas to cool students off on the first day of spring. Seth Hawk has the story.
Spring has finally arrived on the Troy University campus, and what better way to celebrate spring's arrival than with a cola? That's what one sorority did on Tuesday afternoon, as members of Troy's Alpha Omicron Pi sorority were giving out free Coca-Cola on Troy's social quad.
We're actually doing a Cola on the Quad event for our spring recruitment right now. We're trying to get as many girls for our spring pledge class.
Out of all the events that AOPI could have done for their spring recruitment process, they chose to give out cola because of the history behind the Coca-Cola can.
When the creation came about for creating the label for Coca-Cola, he actually had daughters that were in Alpha Omicron Pi, and it just matched with the colors, cardinal red and white, which is the same color of the Coke can, cardinal and white.
And for those that might be interested in rushing AOPI during their spring recruitment, the time to do that is coming to a close.
Well, we've actually been doing really well. We've gotten a lot of girls to spring pledge class. We actually have some of them out here. But it actually ends next week, and so we're just trying to get those last few girls on campus that we can find. So if you're interested, come see us on the TC Quad from 11:30 to 2:30 Thursday, and then Monday and Tuesday of next week.
Seth Hawk, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
A pair of high-heeled shoes may be perfect for a night out on the town, but you probably wouldn't think about wearing them to exercise. However, there's a workout class on campus that routinely makes students pack stilettos in their gym bag. Brianna Jones gives us a look.
What do you think about when you hear strutting stilettos? Maybe a fashion show or some type of concert. But here at Troy University, it's a student-led organization that emphasizes dancing.
So this is Strutting Stilettos. It's a class that I have on every Tuesday from 8 to 9:15. Basically, it's a women empowerment class to where I get ladies to come together, feel sexy, feel confident, feel beautiful, and just overall move.
And for those wondering how this even got started, Fuller says her passion for something like this began a long time ago.
So I've been dancing since I was about 2 years old, but I never was able to kind of find what I truly love and what my passion was. So when I came to Troy, I was like, we don't have a heels class here. We don't have anything that people on campus can get involved with and just move around. So I was like, you know what, I want to start a Strutting Stilettos class. And that's exactly what I did.
And you may have noticed this week the ladies aren't actually in stilettos. Sometimes the group alternates between heels and sneakers.
Well, I also picked sneakers as well. So I did stilettos at first because who really knows how to move in heels? We just walk in heels on a day-to-day basis, so why not try to dance in them?
Although the name of the organization is Strutting Stilettos, Fuller does encourage the men to come out as well and dance in their sneaks.
Well, it's actually just now been ladies, but I'm more than welcome to guys coming in as well because it's not a sexist class. It's really movement for any and everybody to come in, but just recently it's just been ladies coming, which is fine with me, but guys are more than welcome.
The next class will be on Tuesday, March 27 at 8 p.m., held in the dance studio behind Troy's Rec Center. Brianna Jones, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
From the realistic to the abstract, art can come in many forms depending on the imagination of the artist. Well, one artist now featured in the Johnson Center for the Arts has arts mixed with fantasy and reality. Nathaniel Rodriguez has the story.
A new exhibit called Figuratively Speaking is now opened in the Johnson Center for the Arts, featuring the work of Pelham artist Terry Strickland, who specializes in portraits.
However, not all of these portraits are simply creations of the imagination. They are actually from something called the Incognito Project, where Strickland painted several of her friends as their alter egos.
She had a number of her friends, invited them to a party, asked them to come in costumes of who they would want to be. What is their alter ego?
In addition to the works from the Incognito Project, the exhibit also features some of Strickland's earlier works, which Hopper says shows how she has evolved as an artist.
You'll see some of her earlier work on the walls as you first come in that are very much portrait types, but not as piercing as the work she's done with this project.
The Johnson Center will have a book by Strickland available for sale next week at the reception for the artist. The book tells the story of the Incognito project and how it came to be.
It is full of pictures about step by step, including sketches of how they wanted to do some things, actually setting up for photos and that sort of thing to begin the project.
Strickland's reception will be next Thursday on March 15th. She will be joined by fellow artist Gary Chapman. Nathaniel Rodriguez, TrojanVision News.
It's time for our last break, but when we return, we'll learn about summer classes here at Troy University. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Oh, it's gonna be great. I think it goes around.
Let's go. We gotta get you in practice.
And it's set.
This is the moment I knew his future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
You were supposed to make a right, but you made a left. And it's okay, you found your way. On a personal note, as I was counseling the two of you.
Now back to TrojanVision News Weekly.
Troy University students looking for a faster route to graduation may want to look at taking summer classes. We'll learn more about what's offered in the summer in this week's Trojan Talk. Hello and welcome to Trojan Talk. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. My guest today is Dr. Hal Fulmer, Associate Provost and Dean here at Troy University. Thank you for joining me here today. And we're here to talk about summer classes. Obviously, a lot of people out there, go to school during the regular school year and may not even be aware that summer is a viable option for them. Talk a little bit about summer and why it is a potentially viable option for so many students.
Yeah, and Aaron, when you look back, there was a time when people went in the summertime, right? I mean, everybody kind of, went year round. We sort of fell away from that a little bit. I think people's lives changed somewhat, but summer is a great time to enroll in classes at Troy University. We have an opportunity to catch up a little bit. Sometimes, you might drop a class because it's not going as well. You're not really staying up on target to get the number of hours that you really need to get every year so you can push along and get that degree. Or you enroll in summer classes so you can get ahead. And so now we're shortening that amount of time that you need to actually get through and finish. And, if we're not careful, I mean, it's a great experience to be at Troy. We love having people here. We want them to be successful and be great alums. But that length of time begins to stretch out. I don't take quite as many hours. Maybe I'm a little hesitant about taking 15 hours instead of 12. And the next thing you know, it slips from what should be about a 4 to 4.5 year degree to a 5.5 year degree, and some people are even longer. And what we want to do is say, look, the summer is a great time to kind of recalibrate that effort and that progress. Summer is a great time because, the classes tend to be a little smaller. Mm-hmm. It's a little less formal because it's summertime. Mm-hmm. And it's a great opportunity to engage courses, to get a great experience, do well, in a relatively short period of time, and then launch yourself back into to the traditional fall semester.
And you mentioned there that target number, and kind of talk about, I guess, what that target number is and how this, for classes to make your way out in a timely manner, and how this kind of affects that target number.
Well, you think about most of our degree programs are 120 hours. So if you were to take 15 hours in the fall and 15 in the spring, that's 30, and over a 4-year period, you're out there around 120. Mm-hmm. What often happens, for a lot of reasons, including the way financial aid is structured, is 12 hours becomes the amount. Well, if you go 12 and 12, now I'm at 24, and now it's 5 years if I don't do anything else. And so what happens with the summer is you go, maybe you do go 12 and 12, fall and spring, and 6 in the summer, and now you're back to 30 and moving on. And we think one of the things that's going to make a difference is the Pell Grant program, which is a federal financial aid program, was discontinued for the summer for a number of years. It's back.
Okay.
I would encourage students to talk to their financial aid advisor. 6 hours will qualify you for a partial Pell. So the ability to take those 6 hours that are in your degree program to get back on the 30 a year will make a real difference. A lot of students think, well, if I get to that 5th year, it's just another year, I'm paying some tuition, maybe that's several $1,000s, but that's all. What students often don't realize is in addition to the tuition cost and living cost, which are a figure, because you don't graduate, you're not in the job area like you should be. So now there's lost wages. Whatever that amount is, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year on top of what you're spending, right? And you're not accruing time at a position that becomes further protection in whatever happens economically to that company. So we need to quit thinking about it's just another year. The goal should be 15 to finish. 15 every semester, and if I can't do that, let's use the summer to catch up. And our summer, this summer, we have some great classes that'll be available.
And of course, and you mentioned there the financial aid, which I know that was an issue in the past, but now that should not be an excuse anymore for anybody who wants to get there. And those classes there, like you mentioned there, sometimes shorter classes, sometimes because of the sessions and things of that sort. So there's a chance to get it done in a fairly timely manner.
We really offer three alternatives on the Troy campus. You can go all summer, or you can go in what is called the first session or the second. Those sessions are about a month long. They're very intense. The classes meet longer each day. Classes meet Monday to Thursday, so the traditional longer weekend in the summer is still available. But a great opportunity to take those courses and to engage what you're doing and to catch up or push on.
And a quick, simple, easy way to get in and get out kind of in those classes there. So,
Absolutely.
Well, here's hoping that maybe students out there are looking at these summer classes a viable option for them. And I know if there's any questions about any registration issues with summer, they can contact their particular development, their departmental secretaries or anything of that. About
right, they can talk to their advisor. If they have a question, they can contact us in the John W. Smith Center for Student Success. We want them to make a good decision. We're going to have early registration for summer in the first week in April. I think there's a good menu out there for what's offered. I would encourage them to look at that and to make that commitment to come in the summer so that the summer becomes a real help for them as they move forward and gets to where we want all of our students to get to, which is degree completion and across that stage and become a Troy graduate and move on successfully.
All right, well, here's hoping some students take advantage of that. Thanks for joining us today, Hal. And thank you for joining us on today's edition of Trojan Talk. And that's what happened this week. To find out what's happening throughout the week, you can tune into Troy TrojanVision News at 5, 6:30, and 10:30 Monday through Friday, or anytime by following us on Twitter at Troy TV News. Also, feel free to like our Troy TrojanVision News fan page on Facebook to see online content from Troy TrojanVision News. We hope you join us again next week for another edition of Troy TrojanVision Weekly. Have a good week.